Good afternoon. Welcome to the Embedded Executive Podcast. My name is Rich Ness. I am with Embedded Computing Design. This week, my guest is Sharon Hagi. He is the Chief Security Officer at Silicon Labs. How you doing, Sharon?
Great, Rich. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much. So the reason I wanted to have you on was not so much to talk about the announcement that you guys made, but to talk about the significance of this announcement. And what I'm referring to is an SoC that is able to achieve PSA Level 4. So let's set the baseline here. What is PSA certification Level 4? What does that even mean?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So PSA is a platform security architecture, and it is a certification that essentially looks at the implementation of security in hardware as well as software that goes into these chips or SoCs or system on chips. In the case of our chip, we have obtained what is effectively a level 4. Level 4 is the highest level of protection against physical, local tampering type of attacks against the SoC. The other levels, level 1, 2, and 3, go through the root of trust, the software resistance to attack, as well as the remote attack. So you can attack a chip, remotely. You're looking at the connectivity. You're looking at local attacks, which are trying to sort of, pry the chip open and steal its secrets that are inside. So of course, the highest level of protection is level 4, and that is in fact, we are the first to have received level 4 today. We were also with our Series 2 back, I believe, in 2022 or 2023. We were also the first to receive the PSA Level 3 certification.
So is this currently the highest level, or is this where it's going to stop? Are we going to be saying 2 years from now that you guys have achieved level 5 certification?
There is no level 5 today. The PSA level 4, which is related to the secure element subsystem, is currently the highest and the top level of certification available from PSA certified.
But is there a level 5 in the works?
I do not believe so.
Okay. So I hear over and over again, nobody's going to hack my system. I'm just a little guy. This is too hard. It's too expensive. What do you say to these people?
Um, Security is basically an equation of economics, right? If your device and your application are an easy target and there's economic incentive for an attacker or a threat actor to go after the application and certainly the SoC at the core of the application, then they'll do it. If there's value in the intellectual property and the code that's running on the SoC because it has implemented some kind of a unique and proprietary, machine learning or AI at the edge kind of system, or it has an algorithm which is valuable for your competitor or someone to know, and they can easily extract it from the device, then that represents an attractive target for them. If disruption is the goal, so for example, someone wants to uh, compromise devices so that they can use them in a denial of service attack. This has happened in the past with webcams. Then they'll do it, right, for disruptive reasons. So again, it depends on, is it, how what is the probability that a threat actor or a hacker will come in contact with your device or with your application? What is their incentive and what is their ability to their skill level and resources to actually defeat the security on that product or on that device? And if it's low enough, they'll go for it, right? So it all depends on that economic equation.
Is maybe think of this. Is the goal to make the system unhackable, or is the goal to make it hard enough that the bad guy are going to say, let me just move on to somebody else who's easier?
No security is can be 100%. I mean, you're gonna spend an endless amount of money and effort to try to secure a system 100%, and that's not feasible. What we do is, again, we do a risk assessment. We understand what is the target system, what it's trying to actually protect, the value of either the data or the resilience of the application. Does it need to be available all the time, and so on. We understand the value at risk, and we apply security that is essentially addressing or mitigating the risks that we believe are not acceptable for our customers or for that specific application. So you have to apply security at the level which addresses the risk for that specific device or that specific solution that you're trying to deploy in the market. Now, no security is going to be, excuse me, perfect. There's always going to be the threat always becomes more and more sophisticated. We now have AI. So AI is, of course, helping accelerate the discovery of different novel attack techniques. Adversaries are having access to more and more compute power, therefore they can try to, break cryptographic mechanisms and so on. So security of a system or a solution has to be built in such a way that it is upgradable, that it is changeable to keep up with the threat. And that is, again, one of the criteria, one of the characteristics of good security architecture and principles that we use in our devices, in our solutions.
Okay. With this particular SoC that you guys have just announced, what are the application spaces that you're looking at?
Anything that is embedded connected. So this is appropriate to a lot of different applications, from home and life, medical device type applications to industrial, commercial, and there's a wide variety of things that the specific chip is suitable for. Again, anything that's sub-gigahertz Bluetooth, that requires a concurrent multi-protocol capabilities, and bigger compute than our previous generation, so you can actually do more on the device than in past types of applications in that space.
So would this be the primary MCU in my embedded system, or is this just handling the security and I need a second MCU to handle all the regular processing stuff?
I think the intent is for this to be the SoC certainly combines compute and connectivity and security in a single package, in a single application. But there are product architectures where this might be, for example, a network connectivity subsystem, or some other component within a larger architecture. So it really depends on the solution architecture. But this SoC is highly capable, and like I said, it has a lot of functionality on board, which can be used by customers to develop comprehensive solutions as well as secure solutions.
Okay, so I'm pretty good at designing a basic system, laying out a board and all that stuff, because I've done this over the years. Now you're throwing this security part at me. So what am I doing differently than I did in the past when I was designing a system that wasn't secure?
Well, a lot of the features that are on the part, I mean, the part already comes with a lot of capabilities to handle, for example, device identities and certificates. The device has the ability to allow application developers to update the firmware on the product. They're easily using secure update and secure boot mechanisms. That means that when the chip actually powers on, it can verify a digital signature on the software that powers it. And it makes it incredibly difficult, if not impossible, for an adversary to try to replace the code on the SoC. So it makes the system essentially trusted. The foundations of that are actually known as root of trust, and that's what the chip intrinsically trusts when it actually powers on and loads the application. Other features on the device include debugging. right? You want to be able to perform diagnostics during development or in the field, and you want to be able to control the access to that functionality. And that access today is governed cryptographically. So again, very strong protection. The part comes with anti-tampering and differential power analysis countermeasures, which means that the cryptography and all of the calculations that happen on board the product happen in silicon. And they apply specific countermeasures that make it extraordinarily difficult for an adversary to eavesdrop on the device using either EM or other mechanisms to try to extract those secrets and cryptographic keys from the device as it's operating, right? So those are the anti-tamper and differential power analysis countermeasures. And there's, of course, a lot of other features that are available for developers. Again, what they use and what they choose to turn on and activate depends on the risk profile of that specific applications that they're going after. And that's why it's important for developers and app developers to understand the risk, the threat model, the risk management aspects of their solution to be able to choose the right solution and architecture to address and mitigate those risks.
Now we know that the bad guys are pretty smart. I know you use the word adversaries. I use the word bad guys. Is the way to stay ahead of them by maintaining the latest software? Is that how without having to keep redesigning your system?
Well, a lot of the functionality is driven by software, but not all of it. So yes, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is driven by the software, by the firmware that's running the device, and that actually helps us evolve the level of protection and to keep up with threats and address, vulnerabilities. But let's not forget, there's also a large part of the system is actually silicon. A lot of intellectual property has gone into the actual gates in the secure element and in the product itself, right? So if there is an issue in the silicon, it might be difficult to address it, but the software aspect of it, we may be able to still fix things and mitigate them to a certain degree in software. So software definitely has a large part in our ability to maintain and upgrade security on those parts.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sharon. Hopefully we're eliminating all the loopholes, the excuses for anybody designing a system that's not secure.
Absolutely. And things are only going to be improving in the future. And I think the more application developers learn about product security and how to incorporate those features and capabilities into their solution design, the better we all are, because we want to build a secure, connected IoT universe.
Awesome. That was Sharon Hagi. He is the Chief Security Officer with Silicon Labs, and I am Rich Nass with Open Systems Media.